Welcome to the solar eclipse.
Woohoo!
I am outside in sunny Northern California. It is 11:01 a.m. and I thought we would see how long we can hang out here so folks can actually see what happens in the sky. I've got my sunglasses if I need them. I know my face is a little dark, but you know what I look like. I'm still me.
You still look gorgeous. You still look gorgeous.
You look gorgeous too, darling, and it's great to see your face.
Oh, it's great to see you too. We can't see it here. It's getting dark, just like, we're on the other side, so unfortunately I haven't noticed anything. I've been looking, I'm like, maybe I'll see the sun, but it's so cloudy and it's evening here, so I think we're not going to see it.
This is remarkable. If you look at the path of the solar eclipse, it's a diagonal line about 70 miles, no, not 70 miles, I'm sorry, erase. 70, how about this? Forget the statistics. There's a patch.
I like that better.
Diagonal patch. Watch CNN. I've been fired as the weather reporter. And it's going to move diagonally, though, from Oregon all the way down to the East Coast. I believe it's South Carolina, but don't quote me. So anyway, I guess at 11 a.m., which is 9 minutes from now, the energies are going to be strongest here. And I'm going to ask Adam if he'll talk a little bit about what's going on with this solar eclipse, what's happening with the energies, and what we can do. Beyond what Adam says, I just want to prime everybody at 11:11 open that heart chakra, bust it open wide as you can get it, spin it to the left. You spin it like a vortex. You spin things the other way and it slings out, right? Send it out. Let the light in and send it out.
He's saying, hey, Mama, I love you.
Hey, Adam, I love you.
He's making me feel, I don't know much about astrology and all of that stuff, but he's making me feel like when something like this happens, it like magnifies things. It's almost like the energy explodes. And a lot of things can happen, is what he's saying. So that might be why my kids have been kind of off today. It's like, what is wrong with them? They might be feeling certain energy. So yeah, okay, cool.
It's exciting. So Adam, tell us a little bit about who you brought with you today if you're not so tongue-tied in her presence that you can't speak.
He's like, let me just tell you how he just projected himself to me. So he's wearing this really nice black tuxedo, but he's got one of those high hats on, and he's got a little cane, like a stick, to make it look all fancy.
Yeah.
He's just saying, my tongue hasn't been tied, but I've been sweating a little bit.
Sweating in heaven. Well, let me tell you, he could get seriously tongue-tied around cheerleaders, and I thought, oh man, how's he going to handle Marilyn Monroe? But he was 14.
Mom, I've gotten more confident, okay?
Awesome.
He's actually standing next to Marilyn Monroe, and he is kind of guiding her like a gentleman forward. So they kind of go arm in arm, and she's just giggling. That's what it looks like. She thinks he's really funny, and really sweet. She's saying hello, and she's making me feel like she's making me feel all fuzzy inside. So she's really like. She's saying that she's congratulating you because you have such a sweet, wonderful young man. Is what she calls it.
Thank you.
Wonderful young man, she says, and I am honored that he's allowing me to take some time to show people, hey, I'm still here, people.
That's lovely. I'm so glad you came. Thank you so much. And we just want you to share with us whatever it is you want to share. We're not going to poke and probe and ask questions about conspiracies or, what people want to know. We want to know what you want to tell us.
She's saying, well, there's so much. There's so much. She's saying, well, I know there's a lot of stories that have been built around me, and I know that there's a lot of people who never want to say goodbye to me. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him, she says. But I want maybe clarify a few things, and I want people to understand that she's saying, okay, let me try and see if I can get this picture right for you. She's saying a lot of people would see me as this role model. They would see me as this sex symbol. A lot of men adored me, and they would see me as this strong woman. But really, I was so vulnerable, and I was so terrified. Almost every day of my life, it was a really, really tough life for me. And I thought, as a little girl, looking at the harsh times that I've been through, feeling abandoned, I always dreamed of being a star, because I thought that if I reach that, then all my problems will go away. I will be loved. I will be, financially stable. I won't have to worry about anything. I had an illusion of wealth and fame to solve all my problems. And that's just what it was. It was one illusion. It never happened for me. I never healed from my past, and I never felt like I fitted in anywhere. I was adored by millions, and still I felt like I was the most withdrawn and abandoned person in the whole world. I felt so alone my whole life. I never felt like people really knew who I was. People really understood me. And in some way or form, I was here to experience that vulnerability, to experience that abandonment. And I wasn't really here to overcome it. I was just here to see how it can take you into extremes, how it can take you into directions that you really don't expect in your life. And that's what it did. So, looking back at my life, was it a really nice one? Let's just say that it was a pretty tough one to get through, but it did have some nice bright sides. I did have times here and there where I could find happiness, where I was really excited about things, but it never lasted. I never healed into that deep spiritual level inside of me. So I want to show to people that fame and money and success will not fix you. It just doesn't. You need to go deeper inside, and you need to go to the roots of where the hurt started, because it usually starts with one thing, and then it just builds up and it builds up, and more things will be added to it. So if we can go deep inside and we really go to, okay, where did it start? And then when you look closer at it, you'll notice that it wasn't really your fault. 99% of times when problems start from a young age, it's not your fault. You're the victim. But in some way or form, I had convinced myself that the abandonment was my fault. That my mom left me because of me. I couldn't fix her. I couldn't heal her, so therefore it was my fault. And so all the reactions that happened from my mom's abandonment, everything that happened after that was my fault. Being abused. I had, through the abuse, I had a baby that was taken away from me because I was too young. I was only 13 years old. That baby was taken away from me. I had to marry a young boy in order to get out of my misery. Looking at all the love relationships that I had, the relationships that I had, the friendships that I had, I really always wanted to just fit in. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to have those people that you can pour your heart out, and that will help you and guide you and support you and love you for who you are. But I never had it. Unfortunately, I never found that true love that wanted to be with me just because I was me. A lot of people think that acting was really my thing, but it was not. I loved what I did, but I didn't like the fact that they created somebody through those movies. They created an alter ego that wasn't me, and so people couldn't see the real me. It was hidden. I wasn't even allowed to show people who I really was. It was in my contract that I needed to be the character from the movies. When I came outside, I needed to be that funny, bright, beautiful young lady. I couldn't show tears. I wasn't allowed to show that I was in pain. I wasn't allowed to show that I felt underappreciated, that I didn't feel the respect from the movie business, and I didn't feel the respect from a lot of other people. And I started noticing that a lot of my friendships were really based on what they could get out of it, how I could portray them in the media. Everything had a hidden agenda. Every relationship I had a hidden agenda, and all that did was basically all that fame, all that money, all that success. It destroyed me even more than I was when I was around 18 or 19 years old. When I was around that, I really thought that life is going to start and it's going to be great. And, I was very hopeful because I got out of, I became independent. I got away from all other people telling me what to do and taking away my rights and abusing me and being mean to me. I got away from that. I was finally on my own. And when my husband left for a while, she's saying that she kind of she felt like she was making something out of herself. She's just showing me how she would she's saying she was a model.
Oh, okay.
So she was modeling is what she's showing me, but she's saying, there is something about the camera. When a camera popped up, I turned into this very, I don't know, it had magic for me. The camera had magic. And when I saw the camera, I could be anybody I wanted to be. It was almost like pretending to be this beautiful, independent, very determined young lady. But as soon as the camera left, as soon as the camera stopped, I was back in teasing each, very insecure. I was very fragile. I was very afraid of getting hurt, of getting disappointed, of failing. But the camera really brought the real me, who I could have been, out, but it never really, because there was never a healing process inside, because I never really had anybody that could guide me through this pain, and really bring clarity to this pain. It never really got healed, and so I struggled with my insecurities my whole life. And at the end, she's saying, okay, so a lot of people have claimed a lot of things, and just to get you a scoop of what happened the last year of my life. So as maybe a lot of people know, I did have a hard time with losing my babies. She's just showing me how she would get miscarriages. And she's saying, a lot of people think that I was crazy in love with JFK. I did like him. And let me just tell you a secret. She says, I loved older, smart, intelligent men because I felt it was almost like the father figure I never had.
There you go. Yes.
My father, and I always wanted to find, I would see little girls with their dad,
Yeah.
things together, and I always wanted that, and I felt safe. I felt like they would take care of me. They would heal me. I was always looking for healing. They had the intelligence and they had the life experience. So I thought they knew more than I did. So I always was looking for that. I was always looking for that father figure that was going to guide me and help me and really help me ground myself in this human existence, in this life. So JFK, yes, he became very attractive because he was powerful, I thought, and he was very smart, and he had a way with words. He could convince you in anything. He had a way with words, and I loved that about him.
Yeah.
And we did fool around a little bit, but it didn't really go to the extremes that people think it did. It was really just a few flings here and there. But the person I really, really lost my heart to was Bobby. And Bobby was John's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I really fell in love with him because he wasn't all that serious like John was. He was funny, and he would make me laugh, and he would do the craziest things. We would sneak out and go skinny dipping in the ocean. We would dress up, and we would. She showed me how they would like put beards on, and they would disguise themselves and just go crazy and just go to the marketplace and nobody would recognize him. Those were his ideas. He would like, let's do it. Let's just go. He was so much fun, and he was, he really stole my heart. And I did get pregnant with Bobby, and that's something that a lot of people don't know. I did get pregnant with Bobby, and things went really bad after that happened. Bobby got really mad because he was married, and he was, this brother of the president, and so it was really important for them to keep up the perfect kind of appearance, or a scandal was a good thing for them. And they made me give up the baby. They basically made me and forced me into an abortion. So the relationship went really bad from there. I became extremely angry at him. I was extremely upset with him, but they gave me no choice. They really didn't. Let's just say that they have a lot of power.
They being the Kennedys?
The Kennedys. They had a lot of power. They also had very close connections to the mafia, which, let's just say that threats came from their end as well, in collaboration with the Kennedys. But for some reason, although I was so upset, and although I was so angry at Bobby for what he had done to me, and how he basically cut the relationship right there and then. That was it, done. From one moment to the next, done. I felt like somebody just gave me a rock and pushed me in a deep ocean, and I just had to hold on to it, and I just kept going down until I was drowning. That's what it felt like. So there was such a deep feeling of betrayal inside of me that I really started drinking heavy. I started losing myself. I did do things that I wish I hadn't done. unfortunately, I let other men abuse my body. Let's just say it that way.
Okay.
At really weird parties where there were politicians, where there were famous actors, where there were mafia. Everybody worked together. People think that the government and the mafia were fighting each other, while instead they were really joining each other. They were
Sure.
working together. So these people would meet up in what kind of looks to me kind of like a bar slash, I don't know, hotel room kind of thing. It just looks like there was a place where these people would meet up, and basically she was forced to sleep with men. And she says, I was too drunk. I was too drunk, and I basically didn't care anymore. So I didn't resist it either. I should have, but I didn't. So it really brought me into a very deep depression where I didn't recognize myself anymore. Now, there's a lot of mystery about my death. Was it staged? Was it not staged? The truth is, it wasn't staged. I did commit suicide. I didn't do it intentionally. In a way, I did, and in a way, I didn't. I wanted the pain to end. I wanted the pain to stop. But I didn't take a whole box of pills either. I was crying in bed. She's just showing me how she's kind of crying, and she's talking on the phone. She's talking on the phone, and she's trying to get Bobby on the phone, is what she's showing me, but they're refusing to kind of patch him through, or they're kind of refusing for her to talk to him.
Oh.
And she's saying, I just want it, I just wanted the pain to stop. So she's making me feel like she did take a few pills, but not to the extent that she was deliberately trying to kill herself. But she's saying the pain didn't go away. So I just took like one or two more, and I didn't think it was going to be the end of my life, but it did happen, and I understand now that it was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen, and it was also not just for me. I was here to experience pain. I was here to experience tragedy, to experience the vulnerability and the feeling of being lost. But I wasn't here to overcome it. I was just here to experience it. But my heart was actually bigger than myself. I needed to bring certain practices to the people. I needed to open people's awareness. I needed people to start looking into these relationships, into the mafia, and into the Kennedys, and into the government. And I had a diary. I had written everything in a diary, everything. And I was going to expose all the things that had been going on under the table that people really didn't know about. I had plans to expose it.
Oh,
unfortunately, because, they hurt me so bad. I really wanted to expose the fact that they had forced me to give up my baby. Mm-hmm. I wanted to expose the fact that they had deals, that the government was making deals with very bad people. And why? Just because I was so angry. I was upset. I wanted to take them down with me. I wanted them to feel betrayed the way that I did.
Right.
I wanted them to experience what I was going through, and so I did have it all written down. Woohoo! I did have it all written down. She says, I did, she's showing me, she had a friend where she had actually told him, I'm going to blow the lid off of this thing. I'm going to, so this friend really knew that something big's coming.
Right.
Now, she's saying that unfortunately, because of my own mistake, I never got to do that. But I did have my diary. But the diary Bobby knew about the diary, and he had been asking about it. He wanted
Right.
to destroy it.
Sure he did.
We had plenty of fights over it. So he knew about the diary. So when they found my body, the people who did the crime scene, well, crime scene, just, you know, they do come and investigate, and the police, and they'll take things from your home. They did find the diary, and they did take it.
The police took it?
The police took it. They did put it in storage, but it disappeared. So,
oh my, gee, I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, she's saying, well, you know, that's an easy answer. You know, Bobby wanted it gone, and so it was.
There you go.
That's how it goes. So, but you know, I do feel like I did participate in that aspect to kind of bring forth awareness that you can't just trust anybody, and that you can't just trust the government, and that even the CIA is involved in things that they shouldn't be involved in. They are doing terrible things to people, to cover up, they assassinate people, and it's all hush hush, and it's all very secret, and they do it for reasons that has nothing to do with national security, but that has to do with protecting the rich, protecting the famous, protecting the wealthy, and the politicians. And so through my mysterious death, in that aspect, a lot of people started doing research, and a lot of people have found truth in those cooperations and so on. Of course, they're never going to admit it, but a lot of people know the truth, and it's opened a lot of eyes, that you can't just trust what the government is saying. You need to trust your own heart, and that, you know, things are happening beneath the table that people are just not aware of. So I just wanted to clear that out, because so many people are making speculations, but that's really what happened. That's the truth. And the thing is, you know, the Kennedys, they got their position with the help of the mafia. But once they went into the White House, they turned against the mafia. That was a bad thing, as you know. Okay, what happened to them?
So, from your perspective, can you shed a little bit of light on who was behind the assassinations of JFK and Bobby? Or is that not a safe thing to discuss?
Well, I'm safe now, so I really don't care.
Okay. I think folks would like to hear if you would like to share.
Yes, you're saying a lot of people already know the truth. It's just about, there's no evidence. It's going to be really hard to prove it.
We don't need to prove anything that happens here. We wouldn't have a show if we had to.
So you know, what really happened was the Kennedys were going against the mafia. The mafia, she's mentioning a name. It sounds like Giancarlo or Gianluca or something like that. Not really sure. The CIA is working together with the mafia. They were, in a way, the mafia was killing people for them, and they were doing favors and getting insights and getting information and so on and so forth. So there was definitely a collaboration between those two parties. And it is that collaboration that murdered the Kennedys. Why? The Kennedys were talking about attacking the mafia. They were talking about shutting them down. They didn't really like that. After they had put them in the office, you don't go against them afterwards. So they were very happy with that. And then the CIA wasn't happy with all the she's talking about all the rumors and the how do you say that? forgot the word. She's giving me. Can you just tell me the word, Marilyn? Thank you. I'm hearing all the little bells behind you.
It's my wind chimes.
I love those.
A little magic. Oh my gosh, with the tree behind my head, I look like a creature. Hi. I just now noticed that.
She's the creature of the lagoon. What?
The Medusa.
I think what she's trying to say is all the scandals that were attached to them.
Absolutely.
All the, she's also making me feel like it had something to do with the decision that they made, something with nuclear weapons, that the CIA...
Cuban Missile Crisis? Is this what you're referring to?
She's saying yes, and it had something to do with
murdering
some of the head guy from Cuba.
Castro.
Castro.
Fidel Castro.
She's just showing me his picture, and I remember his face because he kind of had a beard, mustache. I didn't remember his name. So apparently they were planning on, I guess in secret, trying to murder him or to get rid of him, eliminate him.
They being who? The CIA?
The Kennedys. That was their plan. They wanted to eliminate him. They wanted to eliminate him. But they're making me feel like there's something about the mafia and drug trafficking and other things that the mafia had ties with Cuba as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
You could move it from Cuba into the States.
Right. And they're just making me feel like that was it was going to go against the benefit of the mafia.
Sure.
And so because the CIA needed the mafia to eliminate a lot of people, to get rid of, to get a lot of intel, they kind of made a deal like, we'll just get rid of him and, and it'll be better for both parties. So, so who killed the Kennedys? It is a collaboration of the mafia and the CIA, unfortunately.
Okay.
That's kind of...
Thank you very much.
I didn't see that one coming. I really thought it was like somebody from, that was working for the other party or something. That's what I thought. But,
of course. That we all thought what they wanted us to think.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But, yeah, okay.
Nothing like how it is today, right?
She says, should we really go into that?
No. But, just out of curiosity, Marilyn, who are the good guys? Who are the people you can trust? Who are the good guys? Can you throw out some names that maybe we could believe them if their mouth is open and words are coming out?
Whoever's not in politics right now.
Okay. That's a fair statement.
You yourself.
Ourselves.
There are people out there who have, let's just say, who own part of the world financially.
Sure.
Who do have.
Who could that be?
Yeah, there are people out there who have that, that influence, that power in some way or form, who have that financial power over certain amounts of the world, who do really want to do good. Those are people who really, they don't reveal themselves. These are secret, what we call good doers. They are billionaires, but nobody knows that they are, and they will really invest in trying to clean up our world. They will invest in getting research on diseases. They really do very good work, but they don't like to come out with it and say, this is what I do, because a lot of people in the same situation just want to continue to rule over the world. A lot of people, she's saying, I want to explain this to people, and I didn't know that. I was, I was never very into politics or in, I didn't really go to school. Okay, I didn't really learn much, so I never felt like I had the capacity to understand all of this. But from my spiritual perspective, people have to understand that politicians, they really don't make the decisions.
Oh,
It
they
is
don't.
a group of very wealthy people all around the world who decide who should be put in the, White House, and
Right.
who are going to elect there, and who do we want him around, and they basically control all the governments in the world because they make sure they get the funding, and they make sure that that person's going to be there, and this person is going to have that influence, and these people, even Trump, has to listen to these groups of people and say, no, you need to change this, you need to change that, we need to stir up some trouble there so we can get this and this out of it. So don't look at politics as, hey, these people are the evildoers, but think bigger, she says. There is so much leverage and power behind these people that even these people are starting to do things that they don't feel comfortable with, but they don't have a choice.
They have to answer to the people who put them in the positions, right?
Right. Or they don't feel like they have a choice. There have been so many politicians murdered and disappeared and so on, or even completely ruined because these big powers didn't do what they told them to do, or they didn't accomplish the goals that they wanted him to accomplish, and they will rule over them. They can completely destroy a human's life, or even get rid of you if that's what it takes. So there are bigger powers that are actually controlling the world, and it's those powers that need to be dismantled. And the only way that we can dismantle them is by really finding the power within ourselves to make up our own decisions, to make up our own mind, and not to be ruled or guided by television, by news, by newspapers, by politicians, by these people who claim to have all the answers. No, make your own answer, and by joining collectively into these answers, into putting the effort and the energy into knowing we're going to do this and this needs to be done, and people need to be equal, and there can't be any uneven separation, or uneven dividing of money. Everybody should have the same. If we really create that in our mind, she says, then we can overcome these. We can basically throw them off power, because we are taking back the power by taking back our minds, by taking back our own opinions, and by saying enough is enough. We don't know who you are, but you ain't gonna win. That's the power of every single individual, and that's what's going on right now. There's Korea, and there's Trump, and and there's Europe that's going through disasters, and there's Syria and China. And if you look at it, the world seems to be revolting itself. It's like it's battling itself. All continents. And what that is it's actually an expression of people starting to think, and they're starting to make their own opinions about life, and they're starting to think, hey, no, we need change. Hey, you guys, you need to stop telling us what to do in this world. You need to stop with all these rules and regulations that keep us down, that stop us from thinking of our own. And so more and more people are starting to shut out the news, and more people are starting to think for themselves. And that's what's happening now. That's why all this, these conflicts are kind of occurring, because the energy is shifting. And when energy shifts, there's always a little bit of trouble in paradise, so we can turn it back to where it needs to be. So it just creates a vibration that can be very threatening, especially to people with power. They feel threatened in some way or form. They don't always know why, and they can't explain it, but on a subconscious level, they're feeling that energy of the human race starting to revolt, starting to stand up for themselves and say, no longer, we don't want this anymore. And that's why they're like, oh my God, they start to panic. And they do stupid things. Let's just call it stupid things. They do stupid things, like trying to attack each other and bringing millions of people's lives in danger. So she's like, wow, I really didn't think we were going to go in that direction, but that was kind of nice.
Marilyn, this is your day. Your day, honey. What direction do you want to go in?
She's like this. She's like, who would have thought I would have talked about politics?
Well, let's talk about things we like. I invited you in this morning when I chose my outfit and my makeup, and I'm like, come on, Marilyn, let's go in the closet and pick out something. Were you there helping me?
Oh, yes, and you look gorgeous.
Well, did you pick this shirt?
I love pink.
Well, you know why I picked it? Because it reminds me of that little box of licorice candy called Good and Plenty. And I just thought it would be fun to wear for Marilyn.
Well, she says I was good at getting myself all pooched up.
You were.
I was very good at that. And although I got this label of sex symbol, I really wasn't. I was the most shy and timid partner you could ever find. I think that might be the reason why my husband's, why it started not going so well. Having sexual relationships for me at the beginning, it was, it had to be dark. I didn't want anybody to see me. It was not like, oh my God.
No, you didn't have a very positive experience with your introduction.
No, it wasn't a comfortable thing for me, and at the end of my life, it still wasn't. But I just stopped caring. I was just so lost. It was almost like I was numb. I didn't really feel anything anymore when I was with a person. So, but yeah, intimacy was not my biggest thing. I was really good at acting like I was very confident, but boy, was I not. I was not. And, I want to tell every girl and every woman out there that confidence, you're not going to get it with the way you look. And you're not going to get it with, finding the perfect husband and having the perfect career. Confidence, it really needs to grow from within. And it comes from a point of love for yourself. If you don't love yourself, you'll never find that confidence, and you'll never find that strength that every single girl and every single woman has inside of her. Men still underestimate us, but we actually have the key to the healing of this planet. Now, girls, take that, okay? Take that and really use it as your drive to share and spread compassion and love, but give it to yourself. Give it to yourself. We don't give enough love to ourselves. We don't give enough passion to ourselves, and that's something that I should have found. I should have in some way or form. But you know what? I didn't have a role model. I didn't.
No.
A lot of my friends, a lot of the actresses that I befriended, most of them had a very low self-esteem. They were very critical of themselves, and it was enhanced by men telling us, you need to lose weight, you need to pump this up, you need to flourish that up.
Yeah.
They were constantly, as actresses, the studios would constantly criticize us, and they would constantly bring you down, and you weren't, your voice isn't sexy enough, it needs to be sexier, and you were never allowed to be yourself. You were never allowed to just kind of play and act from the heart. No, it needed to be sexy. You needed to play the dumb blonde, and you needed to play this because women were considered dumb in those days. And, that really made me angry. And that's why for a little while I took a break from acting. I really wanted them to give me a shot at doing more serious roles and more in-depth characters. I think I deserved that. But they never really did. They never gave me that respect to kind of give me something that would make me feel good, that would make me grow, that would make me feel accomplished. They never did. They took that away from me. And unfortunately, I wasn't strong enough to stand up against them. I would leave. I would run for a while. And I would focus on other people who did make me feel good, and I would work with them for a while. But, you need to find it within yourself. There's not going to be one person, if you don't feel it, it doesn't matter how many thousands of people adore you. They can't help you with connecting to that. They can't help you with connecting to that strength that every being has inside of them. So how do you find it? How do you tap into that, immense power that every human being has inside of them? Well, the only thing I can tell you is you need to release the fear, and you need to release the illusion that we're flawed. We're not flawed. Nobody is flawed. We're all perfect in our own way, and we all play a part in life on Earth. We all play a part in the global consciousness and in the global expansion of Source. So we are a part of that. Every single person on this earth is a part of that. So find that strength inside of you, and just tell yourself every morning how great you really are, how beautiful you really are, and how important you are on this planet. Because so many people feel like they're not worthy of being here. They don't have a purpose here. They don't feel they're beautiful. They don't see what the big deal is about them. I know I was one of those people, and I had thousands of people screaming my name, and still I felt like I didn't matter. Like there was nothing there that people should be cheering about. I didn't think it was all that special. So I want to tell people there is something special about you. And I want to thank my fans, she says, for seeing that I was special, for seeing that in me, because I couldn't see it. I see it now. I see it through your eyes. I can see what you saw in me that I couldn't see in myself. So she wants to say thank you to all those people who really believed in her and who really saw the beauty, the perfection that I really was. Because she says, when I got my life's review, I saw what people saw, and it really surprised me.
Aww.
It really surprised me how much real love there was towards me, and I just couldn't grasp it. I couldn't see it, and in a way I was disappointed. I did need some healing after my passing. I did need some guidance, because it was right there, and I didn't see it, and I didn't feel it, and I couldn't grasp it with two hands and make it my own. But that was okay. That was okay. It was a great learning lesson. It was a great learning experience, and, I want you to see it. Even if nobody else around you sees it, when you can find it in your heart, and when you can see how special you really are, then you'll attract people who will see it. You will surround yourself with people who will appreciate you and who will respect you. Because if you don't respect yourself, then you will be treated as such. You create the people around you. You attract the people around you. So if you don't love yourself, if you bring yourself down all the time, then you will be surrounded by people who will do so. They will aid you in that because that's what you're sending out. You will attract that. So every morning, send yourself love, and you will see that I can guarantee you in about 2 weeks, people will start noticing you and say, hi. Or they will just nod on the street. Just people who don't know you, they will see that beauty, that vibration from within you. It is a glow that puts around you. When people love themselves, and I'm not talking about ego, I'm talking about appreciating who you are. I'm talking about appreciating the fact that you are source and source is you. And when you see people walking around and they are confident and they know they're beautiful and they know they're here to make a difference in the world, even if it's, in their eyes only a little bit, it's a difference. You get attracted. You go, whoa, she looks nice. Those people immediately shine up. She's saying, look at Cindy. Look how beautiful she really is. She's found truth in her heart. And she's found connection with herself. And she's found connection with Source. And she shines. She shines. And people see that. And people get drawn to talk to her. And they get drawn to be around her. And that's how it is. And when you're really lost and when you really don't see the beauty in you, you go down. And people will ignore you. They don't see you. You become invisible to the world. And that's a waste. It really is a waste because you have so much beauty inside you. You just need to find it for yourself, and then you will see that people will find it in you as well.
Gosh, Marilyn, that is such a beautiful message, and even more so because of where it came. So I would like to join with you and challenge anyone out there who doesn't feel beautiful or who feels invisible. Please take Marilyn's advice. Try it for 2 weeks. Look in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. The words I am are two of the most powerful words in the world. Whatever follows that, I am. Make sure all your I ams are nice, positive, self-supporting I ams, that they're loving I ams that help you move forward.
Exactly. She's saying she's very happy she got the opportunity to say this because she says, we're all goddesses and we're all stars. So start becoming that star that you were meant to be and just follow your heart, she says.
That's right, sisters. And you brothers, too.
Adam is saying, fuck yeah.
That's my boy. So, Marilyn, got a question for you. Are you currently incarnated on this timeline? Have you come back?
She's saying, I am. I'm still wee little, though, she said.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm still wee little. I'm about 18 months old right now.
Oh, how precious. Where are you?
I am in Indonesia. And I've signed up for a life of spiritual guidance. And I'm going to grow up and be a spiritual leader to people.
Oh, that's wonderful. So are you male or female?
I am female.
You are. Okay. That's absolutely beautiful. How exciting. So do you have any past lives that you want to share with us that maybe might account for you having chosen your life as Marilyn?
Well, she says, I want you to understand that it's not always past lives that affect you.
Right.
In my case, it's really a combination of different lives. Mm-hmm. Kind of has brought me to a point where vulnerability and being fragile was a choice for me. I've had a lot of lives where I was in control, where I was powerful, and where I could, let's just say I wasn't always the nicest person. Oh, that might be an interesting one. It's not a really pleasant one, but let me just tell you.
Okay.
So she's okay. So she's showing me what looks like Peru. What
Okay.
what we would call the Incas. That's what it looks like. She's showing me how they kind of had paint. She was a man.
Okay.
She was a big leader of a people, is what she's showing me. And he's kind of he's got like paint of some sort on him. I don't know. He's like painted on or something, or tattoos. It just looks like drawings on him. She's saying that in order for me to be able to stay in power, I needed people to fear me, and I needed people to respect me in some way or form.
Right. Out of fear.
Yeah, out of fear. You know, I would be the one who would pick the people and the children that needed to be sacrificed for our gods.
Wow.
And that was it was an interesting life, because I really felt like this. I didn't see the sacrifice as, how can I say it? I didn't feel the pain for the parents or for the family members. I really felt that we needed, that this was an honor for them to die. This was, you know, you should be honored that I picked you. And that you're, you know, because I really believe that by sacrificing them, that they would be taken up to a beautiful place, because they sacrificed themselves for the greater good. So I would see it as a good death. Okay. However, over time, at first I was like, yes, okay, this is what we're doing and it's great. But over time, I really, and I think in a way, it's what people would call your punishment. It wasn't punishment for me, but it was really connecting with, it's almost like separating from the power, separating the high from the power with the reality, and coming in contact with the reality. I would start feel connected spiritually with these people that I was picking out. And she says that it's almost like there were beings from other planets who communicating to them, and it's almost like they did something to him. It's almost like they injected some kind of feeling, like connection, like an energetic connection. And so when he started picking these people out and they would kill him, he would feel it. He would feel the pain. And it really, it's like he totally shifted, and he could feel the pain of the suffering of the family members and the fear of his victim. And he could really feel that what he was doing was wrong. But he wasn't allowed to stop, because that was his job. I guess if he didn't do it, he would be sacrificed himself. So he's making me feel like
sounds like the politicians of today.
In a way, they throw you under the bus.
Right.
But yeah, so it's all about how he was first in power, and then they wanted to. It's almost like these beings were against what we were doing. They didn't want people to be sacrificed in name of them, right?
Sure.
So because these were really very positive, compassionate beings that were just trying to help them in their evolution, in
Right.
understanding the stars and so on. So it's all about sharing knowledge in some way or form. So they really wanted us to stop that, and their punishment was to make me feel all the pain,
Okay.
and that was really an eye opener. And I couldn't handle it eventually anymore, and I committed suicide in that life as well. I
Oh.
had to stop the pain. I couldn't
Oh.
sleep anymore. I couldn't live with myself anymore. All the horrible things that I had done, I felt the connection with Source, and I felt that that was wrong, and I felt that we needed to love one another. We needed to share, and they didn't understand. The people around
Right.
me didn't understand why I couldn't deal with it anymore. And it was either that they killing me, or me killing myself. And I didn't, in a way, I didn't want another person to go through that pain of killing me. So I took my own life. I sacrificed myself so not another person would have to do that to me. I wanted to save them from that pain in some way or form. So for me, that was a really intense journey. And a lot of people actually go through that shift. And then, those are people who go in history who went from being completely nice to all of a sudden, turning around, or being a complete cruel person. And all of a
Right.
sudden they get this awakening, and they, completely spiritual leader. It happens a lot. For me, it was an eye opening of what compassion was, and of you should never hurt others. And as my life in Maryland, although other people would constantly hurt me, I never hurt anybody. I never did. I couldn't do it.
You
You know.
feel like such a sweet, 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 compassionate soul. You remind me very much of my sister Rhonda.
Oh, she's a sweet lady. She makes me feel like, believe it or not, that you and me are very, very similar as well. Um,
Really?
you're just not so timid as I am,
Well, I don't hurt people.
but you have the same heart.
Thank you.
You have the same heart, and you want to do good in this world, and that's what I wanted to do as well. Um, I brought entertainment, and I gave people somebody to dream about. Let's just call it
Oh,
that.
you did?
Uh,
And you are still
uh,
entertaining people? Do you know my stepfather has a picture of you in his closet? I think it's hilarious. I don't know why it's in the closet. It's not hiding from anything. They had to put it out in the living room. Oh my gosh, would he ever love it? Would you mind just blowing a kiss for Jim?
just going.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm going to show that to him and let him catch it right there.
Just tell him I love him.
Oh,
Just tell him
that is
I love him.
so sweet. What do you think of my boy? What do you think of Adam?
And I've said it before, but Adam is so sweet. He's a little rough on the edges. And by that I mean he's just crazy. He's a little wild for me. I'm not used to all that. Hey, what's up? Is a little wild on that factor for me. But he's got a great sense of humor, and he is very respectful.
He is.
So he really respects your opinion, and he respects. Let's just say that a lot of people here in the afterlife are starting to get really interested in Adam, because it's not like he's like lining people up and say, okay, who's next? But he really, he goes to them personally and say, hey, this person kind of invited you to come and talk to us about your story, and he really sits down, and he shares his life. himself with that person, and he blends together and he merges, and in that way there's this very intimate relationship that he's bonding with everyone, and he did the same with me. He was so sweet when he came over. I mean, I couldn't say no, he could be very charming, if he could be really charming if he wants to be, and really naughty when he wants to be too. So, I love him very much, and I'm glad that he shared his journeys with me. Not just Adam, but he shared all of his journeys with me, and it was really nice to see that he's helping people, and he's helping the human race to develop into a more enlightened state of mind. And of course, I wanted to be a part of that. I've always wanted to help people, and I think I'm doing a little bit of a better job now than I did when I was alive. But that's okay. Okay, that just shows you that it's never too late.
It isn't ever too late.
Oh, you don't run out of time, and whatever you don't get done in life, you just do it later on when you're in the spiritual realm. So all is good, and it's so great. And I think I'm going to take Adam home for a little bit, if that's okay with you.
You know what? You have his mama's blessing to take him home and give him an experience he will never forget. Rock his world, Marilyn.
She said, "Oh, good. Oh, good." He's probably going to want me to dance for him, but
well, ask him to dance for you. That boy can dance. In fact, he told somebody not too long ago that I think he was wearing a cowboy hat, no shirt, and some chaps. Put his foot up on our couch and said he could dance with the guys in Vegas.
That's funny. I think I should just take him to meet all my friends, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people who are going to want to come and talk to you. Now,
okay.
There is one person who I think I always admired him, and I thought he was amazing, and he was one of the sweetest, kindest men I ever met. And he, in a way, he really supported me in what I was doing, although believe it or not, but a lot of actors and actresses they were kind of envious of my fame, because they didn't believe that I was the greatest actress. They thought that it was just my looks and my wit, and I was funny, and that was it. They didn't see the depth that was inside of me.
Right.
But this person did. So if he's willing to come forward, I would really nominate him to come and talk to us. And his name is Clark Gable. If you really have him, I would love to invite him and see if he can share some of his stories and memories. Because you know what? We all affect one another, and we all learn from each other. So listening to each other's stories and our pathways and our growth and how we dealt with things, it can be an inspiration. And you take your little bits out of that. What works for you? And yes, I felt that too. How did she deal with that? Okay, I can give that a try. Learn from one another, inspire one another to be the greatest you that you can be, and to become that star. And you will see that life is really not as bad as we think it is. It will be great. And you will be spectacular, just like our son right now, who is dancing with the moon.
And my son's going to dance with Marilyn Monroe. Thank you so much. Such a... There goes those rough edges. Don't scare off, Adam.
So, did you see it? Fuck yeah!
Thank you so much. You are so delightful. You have my permission to come and hang out with me anytime, girlfriend. I love it when you tell me secrets. That's fun. Adam, your grandma, not that she believes you're really there, mind you, but just in case.
That's all right. She's saying it's all right. I'll scare the crap out of her one day. She'll figure it out. I just got to be careful not to scare her too much.
You know what? I don't think my mom's scared of anything, so I can't wait to see what he does to try to scare her. She'd scare Freddy Krueger, especially if they were arguing about politics. Okay, so listen. She had a cousin who passed not too long ago, and just in case this isn't nonsense, she was just wondering if cousin George had a message for her. And honestly, I don't have a clue who this person is, even though he would be my second cousin. And mom's name is, well, you know her name. I'm not giving you any clues because she'll have an explanation for how you knew it.
He's saying, Mom, it doesn't matter what we're going to say. Nothing is ever going to really convince her.
True. And I want to be clear that it is not my intention to really try to convince her or anybody else. Because you know what? I didn't believe until I did. And that's just how it is. It's okay. But she did ask if George had a message.
Yeah, he's saying to get that stick up out of her butt.
George said that?
Yeah. Get that stick out of your butt.
And did he say... You had a little bit of a southern accent there. Was it get that stick out of your butt?
Get that stick out of your butt. I think he's meaning it in a very positive way.
No, I'm sure he does. Okay, anything else you have to say? Who are you? How are you related to her?
Oh, he's saying that'll all come to pass. One step at a time. He's saying, Adam, okay, so what we need to do is we need to scare the shit out of her. We need to give her something she can't deny. And once that happens, then she'll be ready to receive the messages that she needs to receive. And then we'll come forward one step at a time. He's saying, believe it or not, but when people are stuck in that vision of, of their belief system, no matter what happens, it's going to be really hard for them to drop that. And, no message will ever be great enough to really convince her. So we're not even going to go there until she's ready for it. She needs to be ready for it. And when that happens, she will know it and she will feel it. So he's saying, you know that she thinks you're crazy.
Me?
Yeah.
I do know she thinks I'm crazy. Lots of people think I'm crazy, and that's fine. That's okay. Because I know I'm not.
He's saying, the crazier, the better.
Here you go.
He's saying
you know what? I have a new definition of crazy. Crazy to me now is actually experiencing something and still not believing it.
Exactly.
You know, because when you start accepting in these really high energies and you change the way you believe, or basically just let the veils between what you think is there and what isn't there slowly disappear, you experience an entirely different world. And it enriches the life that you're living now. I don't have a problem with it. Anybody who doesn't believe this, I think their life would be more richer and colorful if they did, but it's their choice. And my mom says she's got all of eternity to figure out the mysteries of life once she's on the other side. She's just not interested now because, frankly, what does it have to do with the price of eggs?
Yeah, and Adam's saying that's fine, and that's
and I do agree.
It's not even in her journey to really get fully into this. Will she get her message? Yes, she will. But it's by design that she's like that. Otherwise, you would have never pushed yourself to really go out the boundaries and to kind of go, to follow that oomph that you got, Mama.
Absolutely.
So it was all by design. So everything is the way it's supposed to be, and we're not going to mess that up too much. But I am going to try and show up, and I think she won't be able to deny what happens then. So we're working on it, but she really needs to allow us in, and that's another thing.
Well, meanwhile, I do want to thank her because I absolutely realize her role in my journey. Her father was a Pentecostal preacher, and you can't believe in angels and God, and she doesn't get to pick and choose. It's kind of a package deal, and once you open yourself to that, then you have to take the bad with the good, because there are people that don't realize that it's all good and there is no judgment. And when that is your reality, what happens is those experiences are accompanied by fear, instead of the way I was sort of indoctrinated into the mysteries. I experienced them through love, and through the greatest love of all, allowing my son to go back so that he could complete his mission, knowing that we would work together with him on the other side of the veil.
And I think what you just said, Mama, is very important, is we need to appreciate and see the beauty in every relationship we have, even if it doesn't feel like a good relationship. I can guarantee you that it has a great purpose in your life, and it's guiding you and pushing you in a direction that you need to go into. Right. So be appreciative of everything, of every relationship, because it's the contrast that relationships offer to us. It's from that contrast that we expand, that we learn, that we grow. Mm-hmm. So that's my final message for today. Says this: be thankful for every person you ever meet in your life, even the ones who hurt you. If you say thank you for showing me how not to be, or thank you mm-hmm. for pushing me in a direction that I needed to push into, even if you don't know what that direction is yet.
Right.
Being grateful, saying thank you will only bring you more positivity into your life.
That is an absolutely wonderful message. Before we go today, I want to announce something really fun, and I'm super excited that Emma's going to be with us. Next Tuesday, August 29th, Adam and Emma and I are going to be on the Joyride Show. Yay! It's a radio show out of Houston with the Metaphysical Moms. I love them. Carrie and Tiffany. Yay!
They're wonderful. And you're going to be there live.
It is. It's going to be Facebook Live. So if you actually... Right. I'm sorry, say that again?
You're going to be at the studio live as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I will be live in the studio with Carrie and Tiffany in Houston, and then we're going to be on Facebook Live. So if you would actually like to be there, it's going to be Tuesday, October... where did October come from? August 29th at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. It will be broadcast live on Facebook. You can say hi. You can ask a question. I'm not sure if it's going to be actually a question-answer format, but this will be the first time that Adam and I have been interviewed publicly. So if there is something that you specifically want to know, I am really, really looking forward to letting Adam talk, and I am extremely grateful to Emma for rearranging her schedule to make it possible for her to be able to join us live from Belgium.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Adam is very excited about this, and he's saying to the people, if you do have questions, don't be afraid to type them up. We're going to be there live. If we have the time, we will answer them for you.
That's wonderful.
It's so great.
Meanwhile, Adam, people want to know your story. People want to know about Adam. So I am looking forward to hearing you introduce yourself to the world so that you can continue your work as a spirit guide.
It's going to be great. And you know what? When it comes to the book, all in good times, it's going to be great. He says, don't worry about it. The less you worry about it, the easier it's going to flow out of your fingers.
And it is. I'm staying in the this is just fun mode, and we've got people waiting for this now. So right. I have somebody to do it for. Before, let's just say, my family thinks I'm crazy. It's okay. I love them. They actually know I'm not crazy, but they think this piece where I believe that Adam's still here, and what I'm doing with you, and and all the rest of you, they think it's just silly, and then if you're benefiting from it, you're probably silly too. But
you know what? This is me. For me personally, I think crazy is the new fashion.
It is.
You need to be crazy nowadays to be able to survive this.
Absolutely right. If you are grounded in love energies and people are calling you crazy, then you got your head on straight and you have found a way to survive this madness. No kidding.
If people call you crazy, you're doing a good job.
That's absolutely right. So we're going to say goodbye today. Don't forget to allow in those solar eclipse energies. Breathe them in, open that heart chakra, spin it counterclockwise, as wide open as you can get it. Let it in and ground those energies into the earth. We're going to add some Reiki symbols now because we're going to take this show right outside of time and we're going to bring back the eclipse energies as needed. Bye. See you Tuesday, Emma. Bye, Adam. I love you. And Marilyn, thank you so much. You beautiful, lovely goddess, you. Bye.
A kiss. Bye, sweetheart.